Everybody hear me? Great, fantastic. So I'd like to start with an opening quote. A leader needs to know his strengths as a carpenter knows his tools, or as a physician knows the instruments at her disposal. What great leaders have in common is that each truly knows his or her strengths, and they can call on the right strengths at the right time. That's from Donald Clifton. So let us reflect. Good morning, everybody. I'm Stephen Oliver, and my pronouns are he and him. Mostly I'm called professor. I find it kind of interesting this summer. We've had a lot of professors and teachers present, so that's great. We're moving what we teach into messages. It's my pleasure to be here. It's really an honor. Thank you. I typically have come and talked live at church, so this is my first online message, but I do teach online, so hopefully this will go well. My message today is focusing on strengths during times of challenge. I thought I would explore strengths for the message this morning as it relates both to our personal lives and our church lives. So another quote, this is from Tom Rath, the author of Strength Finder 2.0. And he says, from cradle to cubicle, we devote more time to our shortcomings than our strengths. So why do many of us do this? Why do we put so much energy and activities that we don't enjoy, that we're not good at? It might be because we want to be accepted and loved. Perhaps we want to try to live up to the expectations of others, the expectations of our parents, our teachers, our community, our society. Perhaps we want to be validated. So for me, I was never good at math or science. In elementary school, junior high, college, I would bring home an A in English, a B in sociology, an A in psychology, but I would bring home a C, a D, or even a failure in math and science. And this really frustrated my parents. They were even angry. They would get so mad at me for these bad grades. So then I would put a lot of energy and time into math and science and algebra and getting nowhere. I just didn't connect to these topics. This also happened to me earlier in my career. I started out as a corporate trainer in healthcare, and our boss at that time gave us all 5 goals for the performance period. And so she wanted us to do 5 things. That's a lot for a performance period. So I did really well at 4 of them: training, teaching, connecting, employee relations with hospital employees, even some of the patients and families. But one area I didn't do well, I was mediocre, was a statistical report. When it came time for that particular performance appraisal meeting, all she could focus on was that report. She beat me up on that. So that deflated me. That got me disengaged, demotivated, and uninterested in that job. I was really, really frustrated about that report since I'd done so well in other areas. We all have strengths and weaknesses, but the more we know what makes us tick, the more chance we have for success in life. If you can better understand who you are, you can put most of your energy into developing your natural talents, and you can have extraordinary room for growth. So I'd like to ask all of you, what is a strength of yours? Can everybody just type in a strength of yours into the chat box, and I'll read a few of these out. What are your strengths? Ideation, I like that. Organization, engaging people, writing, compassion, storytelling, curating, a good listener, musicality, I love that, oh my God, compassion, empathy, logistics, all right, analysis. Okay, so those are the ones who need to help me out. Analysis and logistics, math, chaos, loving, all right, compassion. These are fantastic strengths. So hold on to these. But let me just ask resilience, there's another one. And so I want to ask you, do you ever wonder why you choose what you do well? Why some things come naturally and why others do not? Why are you drawn to certain activities and you're not drawn to others? So think about that. A simple reason can be your talents. When you understand your unique talents, you have the power to harness them and change the world. So, what is a strength? Well, a strength is behaviors, tasks, actions that you do well. They can include knowledge, proficiencies, skills. People that use their traits and abilities do well in completing their work, relating to others, achieving goals. Now, I stumbled upon a newer book from Dr. Brene Brown. She's really popular in leadership circles. I love Dr. Brown, and she's the author of Vulnerability, #4 on all YouTube hits, 36 million hits. She's fantastic. But in her newer book, Dare to Lead, she talks about courage. And to me, courage is connected to strengths. And so she gives 4 summaries as part of the book. So she says, rumble with vulnerability. What she really means is learn about your vulnerability, all right? And accept your vulnerability and lean into it. But stay tough when things get uncomfortable and awkward. Her second one is live with your values. So understand what your values are, but create actions and behaviors. Align those actions and behaviors to your values. She says, brave trust. So build trust with others and be trustworthy. And then the last one I think is phenomenal is learn to rise. So we all have failures. We all get knocked down. And she says, learn how to get back up when you fall, get back up when you fail, start over and succeed. So again, to me, Dr. Brown is connected to strengths in this discussion or this message this morning. Now let's go back to Don Clifton. Don Clifton is the founder of Strengths, and I'm going to show you a tool in just a moment. But Don Clifton also talks about strengths. And again, he says, your strengths are in your wheelhouse. They come natural, all right? They come natural. But what he says is that we have to practice at it over and over. You hone up your skills to be better. To focus on your strength is to do those things that give you energy, passion, and joy. Dr. Clifton also says it really is not worth putting a lot of time and energy into those things that you don't enjoy. And there is a growing body of knowledge that says if we focus on developing our strengths, we grow faster than when we improve our weaknesses. So let's look at a few celebrities and people who are pretty popular and how they have succeeded in their strengths. And I love these. So probably one of the most famous is Oprah Winfrey. Her strengths are listening and asking questions. She's built an entire business on that. Mr. Rogers, of all people, he's really great at working with children. He's an American television personality, musician, puppeteer. And I didn't know this, he was a Presbyterian minister. He puts his strengths in working with children. Katherine Johnson, a mathematician. Now, I really need her advice. She worked in the 50s and 60s with math and calculating and helping NASA. And she was highlighted in the movie Hidden Figures. And then Congressman John Lewis, who recently passed. He was a civil rights activist leader, but his main strength is moving people forward for civil rights, equity, equality, justice, when things got tough. He didn't stop. His quote that's famous is, "Get into good trouble." And lastly, another person who is successful in strength is Yo-Yo Ma, a cellist, a musician, and he uses his musical skills to entertain millions. Again, all of these people have been successful in their strengths. However, they do have weaknesses. They're not perfect, as we are all human. So this past year, I've had the pleasure of teaching a variety of students, doctoral students, master's students, and bachelor students. And the courses I teach are human resource management and leadership. In those classes, all of them, we use strengths. And if you want to become a good leader, you have to look at yourself. You need to do self-reflection. And part of that is looking at your strengths. To know yourself better as a leader is to be more successful. Aristotle said, Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. So I use this tool, folks, called Strength Finder 2.0. Now I don't get any residuals for showing this. If you came to my sermons the past 2 years, I have some small book, but this is one tool, just one way to look at your strengths. And in the back, there's a little test. And Don Clifton developed 34 strengths in the wheelhouse. And so what his premise is if you take this test and you have to be honest and objective, you come up with 5 top strengths. And then this is a way to work on your strengths, work on yourself. So my top 5, I'm happy to share them with you: communicator, relator, achiever, developer, and then something really weird called woo. Woo. That may sound strange. There's actually a book on it, and the book is called The Art of Woo. Some of you who know me may, find that this is pretty about me. So woo is influencing, networking, meeting new people, using one's strengths to connect others, connect people together, build networks, influence, and build relationships. That came out as my number 1 strength. And so I try to work on that. But again, this Strength Finder tool is a tool that can help you identify areas that you have the greatest potential for building your strength. It measures recurring patterns, thoughts, feelings, behaviors. Knowing this information is a great starting point. And by the way, there's some research from Forbes that's starting to say more and more that strengths help out both personally and at work. Those who know their strengths are happier, less stressed, they're healthier and have more energy, they're more satisfied in their lives and more confident. They experience a really good growth and development. Now for the workplace, they're more agile and creative, they feel more satisfied and engaged. And this is really important if you are a manager, supervisor, or if you lead people. Managers who focus on people's strengths experience improved team performance and greater success. So I encourage you, you can use this tool or just think about your strengths. You put a lot of strengths in the chat box. I encourage you to focus on those and try to reflect on them and possibly work on them. Now, there are 2 things I want to say about our strengths to be aware of. Be aware of overusing your strength or being blindsided by your weakness. Now, I have 2 short stories about those. Again, I'm a woo. I'm a winning people over and meeting new people, influencing and connecting. So my story is before COVID last fall, a good friend of mine came up from Baltimore on the train. And my favorite place in the whole city is the Reading Terminal Market. And I love the Dutch eating place. It's one of those old, you sit in a booth next to complete strangers and they have delicious Amish food. Oh my God. Hot roast beef and turkey. Let's see, sloppy joes, club sandwiches, pancakes. Oh my God. Oh my God, pancakes and bacon. All right, I need to stop. We're almost at lunch. All right, sorry. And they're closed today. But my friend came up from the Reading Terminal. He came up from Baltimore. And so we sat down, and people who go there are people in the neighborhood, people who are on jury duty, and of course, tons of tourists. This is back again before COVID. And so there was a couple from Oregon, a couple from Reading, Pennsylvania. And so I'm sitting there, hey, welcome to Philly. Go see the Betsy Ross house, go see Comcast, go see City Hall, woo, woo, babble, babble, babble. As I was doing that, my friend put his head down, started picking at his food and became so angry. It didn't help that he's an extreme introvert, oh my God. And so when he finally said, hey, I came all the way up on the train to see you, what's going on? Stop wooing and babbling. Well, he didn't say wooing, but stop babbling. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. I'm so sorry. So I said to the people, enjoy Philadelphia. I'm going to chat with my friend. We finished our lunch out and had a good time. And so the key here is not to overuse whatever strength you have. Balance is really key. By the way, I gave them my business card and said, call me if you need further help. All right. And so the second part is to not be blindsided by your weakness. What does blindsided mean? Well, it means the side away from which one is looking, the side on which that is blind in one eye and cannot see. A sports metaphor is the quarterback is tackled because he's blinded by the opponent coming. So as you can see, I love to teach, I love to woo, I love to influence. Every semester there are new students, and so I need to influence. Last summer, and this has been happening a lot, and those of you who are instructors, even elementary K through 12 teachers, at the end of every semester, the administrators want a report. They want to know what does well with students. Do students do well with papers, quizzes, projects, required reading? Now, since we're in Zoom, there are online boards, and you have to go in and write every week. And so they want this statistical report. And so I had a boss who is a statistical geek, and she kept coming for me. Where's your report? Where's your report? And I said, wait, stop. This is so complicated. I can't figure it out. And I said, can you help me? Her eyes lit up. Oh my God. Again, she's such a statistical geek. And she said, yes, I'll be happy to help you. And so she helped me out. She did a lot of things. I don't even understand half of it, but we got the report done. So my message is do not beat yourself up on your weakness. Instead of looking at your weakness and flaws, try to see how you can turn this into a strength, or try to see how you can be very prepared with the weakness, how you can get help, get advice. Breathe about this, and don't beat yourself up. By the way, folks, that report is due on Wednesday. Oh my God. Here we go again, all right? But I'm calling her. So how do we use our strengths during change and challenge? All right, so things are really stressful now. COVID, pandemic, it's not over. Numbers are spiking. We've said going back to school, I'm thankful that I'm teaching online, but a lot of teachers and students are very fearful of that. We're seeing numbers increase for those who've already gone back. We're in really times of this election and ballots and mailbox and corruption. Certainly the Black Lives Matter has really changed us this period. There are times of job loss. People are depressed, frustrated. So what can we do? Well, I encourage you to use your strengths. Now, if you're on the job, talk to people, use your talents. If you're in technology, use that. Lead others, focus on work and project. Use your strength to better interact and listen with people. You can also use your strengths in your personal life with family and loved ones. A lot of us have been sequestered at home. So have forgiveness, have patience, do things in your talents. What I'm really astounded by is there's so many cooks and bakers. People I never even knew baked and cooked. My neighbor keeps handing me all these cakes and pies. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. But use those strengths and talents that you have during this time. Ride bikes, paint, write, blog, work with your, deal with your pets, or, have fun with your pets, your cats, your dogs. Work with your grandchildren, your children, your neighbors, your community, all those things that are your hidden talents. Serve others with strengths. I wanted to just give you two real short examples of people who are serving others during this time. So I came across another article in Forbes. Monica Eunice, Camilla Zamora. They studied together at Juilliard, and they're really great with playing the piano. They're called Sing for Hope, and they go and play in New York City in pop-up pianos and share their music, their love of music to help people. Another gentleman, Robert Eager, in Washington, D.C., his strength of organizing. And what he does is he redirects leftover food from local businesses, farms, for people in kitchens to help them help the homeless, those in need. So there are ways that we can use our talents during this time. So the last part of my message today is, well, what in the world does strengths have to do with First Unitarian Church? What can we do as a church community with our strengths. How can we capitalize on this? Well, guess what? We have some data and some information. So last year, I was a board trustee. I had the honor and the pleasure of serving as a trustee from 2018 to 2020. And Reverend Abby asked me to conduct 3 How Are We Doing sessions. Some of you may have come to them. We did these in November, December, and February. And so those congregants who came to those sessions gave us feedback. We looked at our core values and we asked, how are we doing? By the way, there is a document that we will have, and it will be, there's a report. It's already been sent out to everybody, to all the congregations. It's in the chat room here. So many have already seen this, but I just wanted to remind you that we do things really well. We have strengths as a church. Some of the things we do really well are welcoming people. We welcome people into the congregation. We are growing. We've grown a lot over the past few years, and we encourage people to get involved for their own personal development. Sermons, music, small groups, many different activities. Now, they've all shifted online, but we're still doing them and people are still engaged. And then we do a lot really well with social justice. We're following Reverend Abby's lead in the power movement, Black Lives Matter, getting involved into the community. And then there are these many civic opportunities that Reverend Abby just spoke of. So we do those really well, and many other things. And again, that they're listed in this summary, the summary on how we are doing. But also, we're not perfect. We are not perfect. We are human. And there are some things that people reported out in those sessions that we could improve on. Number 1 was communications. By the way, everybody, every single organization, large and small, all across America has communication challenges. And so that's something we want to just make sure we improve on, work on, not to be blindsided. So we can help, we can get involved and help everyone to communicate better. So in closing today, Rebecca Parker says, you must answer the question, what will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. The beautiful poem that Valerie read earlier. So again, I just want to suggest and recommend, focus on your strengths, focus on your talents, your energy. Focus on what engages you, what motivates you, what gives you life, what gives you energy. Don't get all hung up on your weaknesses. We all have them. We're all human. Don't beat yourself up. Get help. I'm getting help with my report next week. All right. Breathe. Just breathe. As you use your strengths to help face the challenges of the world today, using your strengths for others to help benefit them, your work, your community, the First Unitarian Church. Use your strengths during this time of challenge and change. So thank you so much for listening to me. Amen.
Hi, I'm Reverend Hannah Capaldi.
And I'm Reverend Abby Tennis. We are the ministers at the First Unitarian Church of Philadelphia, where our mission is to awaken love and justice in our lives and in the world.
We're so grateful that you watched, and we hope that the sermon connected with your soul.
We also want to invite you to join us for a live worship service every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You can always find the link to that service on our website at www.philauu.org. In these services, you'll hear words like you've just heard, and you also get a chance to greet one another, pray together, sing together, and we even hold a virtual coffee hour after services to get a chance to greet some new and old friends.
If you want to support the mission of this community and you feel moved to give, you can do so by going to the website that Reverend Abby just mentioned. You can find that link below, or you can text 215-709-5095 and follow the prompts to give.
If someone in your life needs to hear these words today, we encourage you to share this video. And again, thank you so much for watching.
We hope to see you soon.